Well, we're here. Let me take these off. So how is everyone? Now, I've got one complaint right from the start today. Kerry, what were you doing? I went to go and grab a Corona this morning, just before the start of the show, and there's none there. What is going on? Kerry, if you're listening to this, I don't know if she is because she's out shopping, but it's not good enough, hun. Seriously, it's just not good enough. So I'm drinking coffee. This is out of my son's business, Four Seasons Concreting. Give him a big plug. So I'm drinking coffee today. This is terrible. Oh, well, it's just got to be what it is. So cheers. Certainly doesn't taste as nice as the beer, that's for sure. Thanks for joining, everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late this morning. I've got some issues with the computer. In fact, it's not the computer, it's software, and I'm still having a few issues with the chat coming up. You can see here that it usually has a grey box where the text is, and I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm going to have to just see how it goes. I'll have to contact the guy that's written this software because at least you can still read it, but it should have a grey box so the text stands out much better. So not sure what's going on there. We are streaming in 4K again today. Look, I can even see where my head's dry. I've had some things burnt off my head again. Should have put some cream on before I came on for you guys. Because look how sharp it is. And my beard, by the way, is not white. If you're seeing this as white, it's actually blonde. Remember, you've got to get your monitor calibrated because you've got serious issues with your monitor if you're seeing my beard as grey. So let's see who's here anyway. So say hi in the chat. We are in pre-show at the moment. So let's see who's in the chat. So Sting is saying g'day. Samon is saying howdy ho from North Dakota. A nice warm day at -1. What are we today? We're going to be 26 degrees Celsius here today, so it's a beautiful day. Just said there that I'm going to be late. Rocco said, greetings from Southwest Florida. G'day, Rocco. How are you? Tom said, hello, David. First time in the live chat. Wow, that's great to see you here then, Tom. First time watching regularly in 2 years. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tom. That's really terrific. Steve said, greetings from South Australia as well. G'day, Steve. How are you? Heath said, please stand by. Thomas said, we are standing by. I love it. Adventuring with Matt said, hi, David. I think APSC at the moment is not dead. And we're going to discuss that today in today's show. But maybe will be in the future. I'm surprised Micro Four Thirds is still around. Well, I sort of am too, particularly. But anyway, we can talk all about that soon. Salmon said, not often I meet someone else from ND. I don't miss the weather there. Matt said, good morning, David. Axman said, at last I'm here. First 2022 live stream. Well, g'day, buddy. How you going? How's your trip travelling going? Where are we? APSC, Morty. What does that mean? I'm not sure. The Caribbean Dinger said, greetings to all from sunny and hot Puerto Rico. That's where Aaron is. I just noticed he's popped in the chat too. Alien Drone Services says, hello from Oregon. Leslie said, David, hi, nice to see you back. What's new on Sony rumours? Well, we're going to find out today. Not much for rumours, actually, but we're just going to have some discussion about gear and things like that. So it should be an interesting show anyway. Panda's here as well. G'day, Panda. Been watching his YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, it's really cool. Heath said in 4K. Yep. Cost me a fortune to stream this in 4K because I've got to have enough bandwidth to do it. Chris said, morning, Davo, as well. Dave said, hi, David, haven't seen you in a while. I just started back again last week, Dave, due to the fact that I've been doing weddings. So now I've got a month off. Weddings still haven't taken off here. So, you know, I think it's probably going to be next year before it really hits off again due to us being locked down and all that sort of stuff. We're not in lockdown now, but I think, you know, a lot of brides were nervous about booking. Ollie, I'm not sure what that is. Ollie, now how do I stop that from coming up? I thought I put it on no things. Let me see if I can silence it. Let me go there. Where's settings? And focus, do not disturb is on. So now it should be right. Let's keep going down. So, yeah, so that's why I haven't been live, because I've been doing weddings and stuff, Dave. APSC is alive and well, booming, in fact. Well, we're going to discuss that shortly. I sold my A7R3 and bought the new A7 IV, and I'm just getting used to it. It's such a great camera, isn't it? How are you finding the difference with the resolution, Leslie? Is it okay? I mean, you're happy with losing that little bit of resolution or not? I think the camera, though, yes, is much, much better. I mean, you're dealing with a much better camera. Steve said if Sony were to bring out a cheap full-frame camera, it could kill the A6000 series. Interesting, Steve. Axman said APS-C, every couple of months they say it's dead. I know, that's why I thought I'd jump in, because I've seen quite a few posts on YouTube and reviews about it, talking about it like that, so I thought I'd discuss it with you guys. Someone said, Matt, well, they're talking to each other, that's all right. Portugal, they're talking to each other, I think. And let's see what Rob said. Hi from snowy southwest Ontario, Canada. I think it's pronounced that way, Ontario, is it? Hero said, still waiting on that A7000. Yeah, well, so am I. Axman said, coffee's fine. He said, I'm on cloud 9. That was with the A7 IV, I think it was. Chuck is saying hi. G'day, Chuck. How are you? Rob said no corona because of the Australian lockdown. No, we're not locked down anymore. It's Kerry's fault. She's not even here that I can tell her off. I fancy not having corona in summer. Oh. I love it. Aaron saying David's a blonde bombshell. That's right. See, it's blonde. Oh. Did you just see that? I just spilled, you can't see it. I just spilt it all over my thing. I'm going to have to get tissue. Hang on. Lucky it didn't go over any of my gear. I'm dangerous with this stuff, you know. Like, that's why I prefer to drink out the bottle. Oh, God. So I just spilt a whole stack of stuff. I won't put that there because you can all see it. Let me put it over there. So, yeah, we're not in lockdown anymore. And thank you, Aaron, calling me a blonde bombshell. Get a hairpiece, Heath said. I love it. Heath, that's not very nice to say that. I call this a solar panel for a love machine. Barry said, good morning, Dave. Just ordered a new monitor. Thanks. What did you order? Be interested to know. Roland said, thumbs up, people. Yes, I'd love it if you can give a thumbs up, guys, because it does make a big difference, because then other people pop in. So that is really good. I will start the show in a minute. I just like saying hello to everyone. By the way, if you want to make a comment, you have to be subscribed, guys. And I do that because there has to be some benefit for you guys to be subscribed. So I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up. It does matter because, like I said, I'm not sponsored. Chris said, g'day from West Oz. How's Melbourne and the Rona? Pretty good, Chris. I mean, look, I'm fully vaxxed, so, I mean, I've got the triple. I've just had the dose just recently, so I've got that done. But who knows? I mean, I'm probably all going to get it eventually. But anyway. The Caribbean Dinger said, yes, Aaron is my buddy. Richard said, greetings from Las Vegas. G'day, Ike. How are you? The Z9. He's plugging the Z9 there. Have you got that yet, Ike, or not? Or have you got it on order, or you're not getting it? Just love to know. Aaron said, hi, Mr. Digger. Hello from Los Angeles, CA. That's Jubilee Tuts. Greg said, was sitting there waiting and it didn't start. Yeah, I had a couple of issues, Greg. But I sorted them out eventually. Although the software one is, like I said, it should be showing a grey background where it's showing the type. So who knows? Got my A7 IV and the 12 to 28 and 21. Sold my Tamron 150 to 60 millimeter and 150 to 60. What's that one? A-mount lens. Oh, A-mount lens. Okay. And bought the Sony 200 to 600. Yep, terrific lens, that Sony 200 to 600. John said, hello from cold and rainy New York City. Aaron said, let's leave as a joke. Never mind, he's back. He said, cool shirt. I know, how cool is it? My guitar shirt. I love it. I am a guitarist, guys. I was in bands all of my life, actually. Jubilee said, that's why my coffee is always separate from my computer tech stuff where I can still reach it. I know, it's so dangerous. I've spilled it a few times, actually. I wrecked one of my iPad's protectors with the keypad on it, you know, the actual cover. I spilled coffee on that as well. But if Kerry had bought me some Corona, I wouldn't have had that issue. I once knocked a glass of wine onto a brand new 28 4K monitor. Oh, no. Leslie said no big difference on the res. Oh, you can't see it, Leslie. You should be able to see it. But I have been, well, when I say you should be able to see it, I have just recently always been going 4K for the last few weeks. So you probably wouldn't see that. Aaron said, love that shirt. Thanks so much. All right, so let's get started, because today I wanted to talk about a couple of things about the APSC. Oh, let me just show this, because Long Rider, hopefully the confetti works. Does it work? Oh, yes. Tell Ike the Z9 is overrated. I love it. If I press that again, does it work again? Oh, yeah. I mean, look, there's got to be an advantage with giving me a donation, isn't there? Do you think the Z9's overrated, Long Rider? I hate to tell you, but I think it's a pretty good camera. I'm waiting to see if Ike says he's got it. Get a Corona holder. What's the point of a Corona holder if I haven't got any Corona to put in it, Jubilee? Anyway, all right, so let me just switch over to this. Let me clear that and go there, and it should go to it, I think. Yeah. And let me just clear the... Oh, it's gone anyway. All right, so I wanted to talk about this because... Oh, let me just switch back to me for a second. Auto. Because I love this little thing. I mean, look, at the moment, I'm using on here, which is the ZVE10. So that's what I'm using now, and it's got the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens on it, and I love that combination. I also like it because I can have the front of the camera, the front of the screen actually facing me. I just noticed Ike said it might be overrated, but it's not overpriced. It might be over. I don't think it's overrated, though. Do you, Ike? Really? I think it's a terrific camera release. But anyway, so I love both of these cameras, and you know, even though this one only has the flip-up screen, initially I really bagged this, and people that watch me would know that. But I changed my mind, and I actually really like it. And in some ways, it's better than the ZVE10 because, like, at the moment, that is. It's got a HDMI out on it, and it's because of where the HDMI ports are, it's actually covering part of the screen. So when you flip it forward, it does cause issues. Whereas I think in some ways this is the best design because it's never sort of, unless you put something on the top there, it never has an issue with being able to see the screen. Although I do love the fold-out screens though. Now, the thing is I adore both of those cameras, so I use these all the time, and you know, I'll put something like the 10 to 18 on here, and it gives such a wide focal range, and I love that as well. And in fact, in the last few weddings, what I've been doing, I've been leaving my A7 III, which is up here. I've actually got that on as a down camera pointing down. But I didn't take it in the last few weddings I've done. I've actually taken the A7S III, and I've taken the A9, because they'll always be my main two cameras, and then I've in fact been taking this, or the ZVE10, as my other camera that I use, and I've been using for that things like macro and things like that. So that's what I've been using all the time for that. So let me just come up to these questions because it's sort of related to what we're saying here. Julia said, love the confetti. Where are we? Ike said... Where are you? Down here, I think. Jaded Filmmakers here as well. G'day, Phil. How are you? Check out Phil's YouTube channel. It's really good. Bit of comedy there too, which is really good. Ike said it might be overrated, but it's overpriced. And I think down here too, he actually said that it's an amazing camera, David. I've had mine for at least 3 weeks now. Okay, so you have had it for a while now. That's good. Now, we'll come back to the chat, so we'll come back a little bit later on to that. So, yeah, so I've been using this as my other camera. Now, in fact, I love it because it's so small. That's one of the advantages with this, and I hope Sony don't change that, you know, and I really do hope that that's going to happen, that they're going to sort of keep this body in, and I'll talk about it in a minute when we look at that little sort of story that I'm going to bring up. G'day Keith too. Keith's here. I love Keith too. He's started up a YouTube channel that shows all about streaming and things like that, so check Keith out. He has a really good channel if you're into streaming and things like that. So yeah, so the two APS-C cameras I love is the A6400 and also the ZV-E10. I love the ZV-E10 because I think it is a sort of step up from the A6400, and I really do like the focus in it and things like that, and that flip out screen is really nice if you're just shooting normally. So I think they're still a very, very useful camera. And in fact, Aaron has been putting stacks and stacks of photos up online showing him. He also loves the A7C camera, but he hasn't been using that much anymore. He's been using an A6000 series. I think it was the A6100 Aaron, I can't remember, but he's been using that camera now as a minimal type of camera to go out with a small lens on it, and he's shooting with that all the time. So I think they are very, very handy. I'm not sure about which way Sony are going to go though. Like, I don't think, as a sort of quick thing about what's going on with APS-C here, no, I don't think it's dead. I know a lot of people are actually talking about that, but I do not think it's actually dead. I think it's going to be around for a long, long time, and I hope it is because, look, there's one thing Sony could probably do to really hurt it is to bring out a cheap entry-level full-frame camera. If they bought out one that was basically the same price as APS-C, I think it could potentially be killed off. But I'm not sure that they want to do that. Now, what I mean by a cheap full frame, it could be what I mentioned like last week, which was an A5 or something like that, and it could be a really entry-level camera that's priced very, very similar to, you know, the APS-C cameras. But there are advantages to these cameras because they're so small, they're cheaper. The lenses, if you buy APS-C lenses on these, are tiny as well. And so I do think that they have a place in your kit or arsenal. Also, I know you can shoot APS-C if you have a full-frame camera, but remember, you do lose resolution. Now, if you've got, say, an A7R4 or whatever, it doesn't really matter that much because they're so high in resolution anyway. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next sort of version of these that comes out is a really quite high-spec one. And what the advantage of that is, if you say had around about a 30 megapixel 30 megapixel sensor in an APS-C camera, you've got then amazing reach, because remember, you've got to take that 1.5 crop factor into it. So you do have that amazing reach that you've got there as well. So that's one real massive advantage of having the APS-C camera, apart from having it being smaller, you know, and things like that. But look, there are some changes that I think they need to do. I mean, I do think that it's about time that they got rid of having the SD card underneath inside here. It'd be nice now if they did a similar design, and I'm sure they could do it if they were careful about how they designed it, to have the SD. I don't mind if they stay with SD on APS-C, I mean, that's fine, but it'd be nice if they put them on the side, and you also could have potentially, you know, the two cards in if possible, even if it meant having a fraction larger in the body or a fraction thicker. But I do think that's so annoying having to do that to get the card out to open this battery door. I just don't like that aspect of it, particularly if you want to put it on gimbals and things like that. It can be really awkward, but that's one thing that I would love them to change. Apart from that, I really like it. I mean, I love the fact that you can have, you know, and Aaron was talking about this the other day, the pop-up flash. I mean, there's nothing now that we've got that's given the ability to have to shoot with a pop-up flash, and I love shooting with this. And what I do is I tend to hold it up like that, and I'll bounce the flash off the ceiling. Now that's fantastic because, look, you never want to have fill flash on a subject where it's facing forward. But I'm not sure, and Aaron mentioned this in the photography videography school the other day, I'm not sure if people realise that you can hold that back and then it will actually bounce off the ceiling, and it works very, very well. And in fact, if you want to sort of make a really nice look, you can have a nice white piece of paper, and what you can do is you can hold the white piece of paper behind here, and then you'll get flash which will not be directly pointing up at the subject. It'll bounce off the ceiling, but you'll also get a little bit of fill off the flash as well, off the white bit of paper as well. So these are really good, and this is one thing that I love, and it's gone from the ZVE10. So this is one reason why I would keep my A6400, is because of that. You know, I love that way that you can use that in a situation where you want to add a little bit of fill. And I think that's very, very underrated. And it's one thing I hope that Sony just doesn't get rid of in that aspect. I mean, look, yes, there's things that can be improved. The EVF is crap. I mean, it really is awful on the back of these. And the screen at the back is the typical Sony screen, which at this stage is not very good. But I'm sure as we go forward, that's going to change. And you'll start to get better screens and things like that on them. So yeah, so I don't think it's going to be dead. But let me just bring up this list, and I'll just show you if we go to this. So let me just go back to there. So this was from last year, so it was just talking, but I thought this might be interesting to discuss. Oh, now it's on the iPad, isn't it? I always get confused what I'm using now. So Sony said they've halted the production of the A6600 and the A7C. Now, it's got worse than that, because it's actually now happened to the A6400 and quite a few of their other cameras as well. The A6600 is just like a nightmare to get at the moment. The A6100 cameras too. It's just saying that they announced it will halt the production of the A6600 and the A7C. This is terrible news for the flagship APS-C model and the A7C, the cheapest entry-level full-frame camera. If they have to stop the production of these two cameras, it will only mean the sensor shortage issue is worsening. Now, I think what's probably going on at the moment is these cameras really are only being stopped because of the sensor shortage. So that's the issue at the moment with the APS-C cameras. I don't think APS-C is dead at all. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I think that is, because Tamron are still releasing lenses for that. And remember, Tamron are part owned by Sony. And I don't think they'd be releasing lenses if they had wind of that the APS-C cameras were going to be stopped. The beauty also with APS-C is you can also use full-frame lenses on there, and you can even use the APS-C lenses on your full-frame cameras. Like this one, for instance, the 10 to 18, I often use on full-frame, and you can use it at 12 to 16 millimeter. Without you having the ring that you see normally if you use an APS-C lens on there. So some APS-C lenses do give you that ability to do that, and that's fantastic as well. So I don't think it's really going to be a problem. What I think might happen, though, is that we may get a newer high-end APS-C camera. And the reason why I'm starting to think that is because they still have to support the lenses that are out there. And like I said, Tamron are still producing lenses, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think they're certainly not going to be stopped. The issue at the moment is they just can't get enough components for the APS-C line without having the full frame line suffer. So I suppose they've had to draw a line somewhere. It's like, you know, cars. You wait 12 months now to get a new car. So I think what's probably happening at the moment, they're just limiting the amount of cameras that they can actually produce. So that's why there's such a hold-up coming in. And in fact, I'm going to look in a minute and we can check out if we can find them like on B&H and something, just to have a look and sort of see what's going on there, which might be an interesting thing to have a look at. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if they bring out a high-end APS-C camera. And what I mean by that is I'm not sure whether they're going to keep the smaller body. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring out something in the A7 III type-ish body. That wouldn't surprise me at all if they did that. And I also think we might get a slight bump in resolution, and probably we'll get the 4K 60. I think that's what's going to happen in the latest high-end Sony APS-C camera. In fact, it might even be better spec than the low-end you know, the low-end introductory full-frame camera that they bring out too, and therefore they can offer this APS-C line as well as a full-frame line. So, you know, there are still a lot of people out there that will have APS-C lenses, and they would just love to sort of keep going down that line, and they want the reach that's available with APS-C as well. And you can have really good video out of APS-C. I noticed someone said before, and I'll check that when we go back to the comments later, but they're not very good for video. If you shoot in 4K, in fact, the APS-C, this camera and the ZV-E10 is brilliant if you shoot in 4K 30 or 4K 24. It really is incredibly sharp. Remember, they're downsampling from 6K down to 4K, and it is incredibly sharp. I mean, it's easily as sharp as my other cameras that I've got if you're after pure sharpness. So I do think that saying APS-C cameras are not good for video is not actually really true. They're terrible if you shoot in 1080p. They are really soft if you shoot 1080p. It's actually horrible. If you look at that, it's terrible, and they have, you know, terrible rolling shutter. But if you're dealing with just pure video quality, if you shoot in 4K with these cameras, the results are outstanding. So don't be put off by thinking, you know, the results aren't good at all. Yes, they suffer a little bit with low light because ISO is not as good, but as long as you are sensible with that, you'll get great results. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring out, like I said, a real high-end APS-C camera as well in the future. But let's just have a look over here, and I'm going to go to B&H. So let's, for instance, see what's sort of going on here. Now, I thought that I'd look first at the ZV-E10, and you can see sort of here that everything is saying more on the way. So they're not saying that it's cancelled, and I think Sony would have been honest to a company like B&H, and if they weren't going to get any more, they wouldn't be saying more coming soon. It's just got, don't worry about the shipping restrictions because you have to buy it local. You can't buy Sony cameras from overseas to bring here unless you buy, you know, grey. So I think what you're looking at here is that if you wanted to buy it with this 16 to 50 millimeter lens, I think that's the one that I got actually. I got the 16 to 50, which is in there. I don't use that lens much, but I got it as a kit anyway. So you can't buy it if you want to buy that. If you wanted to buy it with even a kit up lens, it's just saying notify when available. It's just saying more on the way. Sony VE10 mirrorless camera with a 16 2.8 is saying more on the way. So it looks like you just can't get a ZV-E10 at all. And this one's just saying back ordered if you just wanted one with without the lens. So it's just the body itself. So you can't get it at all. So obviously the ZV-E10 is at the moment completely constrained, and it would be very, very hard to find. Well, let's try, say, the A6400. Let's see if we can find that. A6400. So again, the first one is saying more on the way. They're not saying that it's being cancelled or anything like that. They're saying more on the way. Oh, Salmon, let me just bring this up because I need to show this. Let me just switch back to me. And let me go over here. Oop, where are we? I'm on a different monitor. Because he just gave me an amazing donation. Thank you so much. What do you say? 25 from Salmon. Thanks for all the information you pass along to some of us amateurs. It's nice to learn from you and the other pros on your channel. Well, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that donation. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Let me just go back to here. All right, so let's look at these A6400. So it's saying there $998 if you wanted to buy the A6400. And like I said, I love that fold-up screen. I think it's terrific. More on the way, so they're not saying cancelled. But again, I'm just seeing if there's any available here at all. So it doesn't look like there is. So they're very, very constrained at the moment as well. Now, the A6400, that one's discontinued, but that's a kit that they're talking about here. With extra, you know, bits and pieces. Let's try the A6600. We'll have a look at that and just see what happens with that. So let's see there. Now, see, that you can buy. So that's interesting. So that's in stock. The A6600 in stock everywhere. So it looks like it's the A6400 and the ZV-E10. That are not able to be purchased at the moment if you're looking at that. Oh, you can't see that actually. Let me just see if I can move that open a little bit. I think it's this one. So they're all saying here that it's in stock if you wanted to look for that. So the A6400 and the ZV-E10 you could not buy anywhere. So that's interesting. Now I'm going to try the A600. Let's have a look at that. A600 search. More on the way. So you can buy some in stock if you wanted to buy that with a lens kit. And in most of them, so there's not much available actually. There only seems to be one. So it does look like it's very, very constrained at the moment. But it's not just that. Well, I'm just curious. Let me just try here. I'm just going to try the A7S3. Let's have a look at that. A7S1. Oop. Let's just see if that's available. See, back ordered, back ordered, back ordered, back ordered, back ordered. Yeah, there's none available. So it's not just the APS-C cameras that are suffering here. It's everything. And this is why I was trying to say to you that a lot of these people are posting ones that APS-C is dead. And I don't think it is at all. I think at the moment, Sony, like all the other camera manufacturers out there, are really constrained in what they've got to actually produce the cameras. So they're having to limit what can be put out there. And you know, like the ZV-E10, you'd have no hope. I'm sure if we looked at the A7 IV, we wouldn't be able to get that either. The A9, I wonder what about the A9 III, or A9 II, I mean. A9 II. Let's have a look at that. So yeah, you can buy that. So that's interesting. But see, that's more of a niche camera, isn't it? So that's interesting that you can purchase that one, and it's a lot more expensive. So it looks like you can buy the A9 II series camera is available. I'm going to try A1. I bet you can get that as well. Yep, that's in stock too. All right, so you can get that in stock as well. It's in stock with all of these different things, so that's not an issue as well. So it looks like if you're trying to sort of look at, say, an A9 II, the A1 is probably in stock. What about the A7 IV? Four. That's in stock too. Yeah, so it looks like at the moment, the issue is that you can't get, APS-C cameras are basically just, you can't get them at the moment. The cameras like the A7 IV, I'm sure that wouldn't be in stock. I'm going to do it and just see. Let's just see that because I'm just curious. No, it's just more on the way. So they're not back ordered, more on the way, more on the way. So you can't get them either. So they're all out. Oh, you can just get that one. That's the A1VA. Oh, that's the A7R4, yeah. So it looks like they're concentrating. Look, there's two ways of looking at this. The A9 II is available. The A7 S3 is not available. The A1 is available. It looks like the really high-end price cameras are available apart from the A7S3, which you just can't get at the moment. So it's not just APS-C that's struggling here, it's all of them. And I think we're probably going to be like this for another 12 months. But I just wanted to make sure that you understand that the chip shortage is causing this. I don't think it's anything to do with Sony discontinuing the APS-C cameras. I think it's just that they're having to say, well, we've only got so many this semiconductor bits and pieces that are coming in, and we're going to have to rationalize that or ration them to get certain cameras out. So I think that's what the issue is at the moment. So is APS-C dead? No, I don't believe it is. I think it's still going to be around for a long time. In fact, I think if you look at the Japanese sales, the APS-C sales are way ahead than anything. So there's no way they're going to drop that sort of sales. So anyway, that's that. So I just wanted to bring that up with you. So let's keep moving here. I wanted to show this because this was a classic. The other day I saw this. This is from Petapixel, but it's actually showing from here that this camera tumbled down the ski field. But this was, and I will come back to the chat later on, guys. Keep firing away if you want to have a question. Particularly if you want to make sure I do read it, you can put at David Osler, and then I'll know that it's definitely for me. But this camera run was incredible. What they did, you can see it falling down the hill here. And if you look a little bit further, I can't play the video, it's banned here. I don't know why, but it just said I can't play it here. But it looks like it was an A1. And they're saying that from here it says the camera can be identified as a Sony mirrorless camera from the strap and shape. It's presumably either the $6,500 Sony Alpha A1 or the $4,500 Sony Alpha A9 II. I mean, I'm sure they'll have insurance. It says Sony lenses of that shape and size aren't cheap either. They're saying it was either the Sony FE24-70 2.8 or the 16-35 2.8 GM. In other words, it's around $8,700. But they did say that if you looked a little bit further down, that there was pieces flying off it. So it looks like it might have broken a little bit, but anyway, that's not good. But if he is a professional, and this is why I wanted to show you this, was if he is a professional photographer, check out. Now, this is the ultimate gear porn. I looked at this morning and went, oh no, I'd love to just go in there and have a look at all this stuff. This is a look inside Sony's camera center at the 2022 Winter Olympics. Get a load of this. I mean, seriously, they will do the cleaning for you and everything else, but boy, there must be some photographers there, because when you look at this range of lenses that are just sitting there, this is unbelievable. Let's keep coming down. Just this guy, it says Nick, I think it's Didlick or something, is covering the Olympics. He took some photos inside the actual place. Well, so you can come into this centre here and they'll check your camera in and they'll clean it and things like that they'll do for you as well. But if you look down here, there's 250 cameras and 600 lenses. So I'm sure that poor guy that had that camera rolling down the hill was probably able to go and get another camera, you know, and probably a lens if he needed to do it. Because look at it. I mean, this is, like I said, this is, I hope it doesn't get me cancelled on the thing, but this is just sheer camera porn. If you're into Sony, this is unreal. Look at that lens cover. I love it. Oh, I reckon I could almost have a bath in that lens cover. It could be almost a spa. So, you know, you check out... Oh, that is nuts. Look at the bodies up the top there. Why can't you buy bodies when... That's, you know why you can't buy bodies and lenses? Because Sony's got them all here for the Olympics. Look at them. Oh. Oh, boy. And not only that... Oh... Look at this. Would you? They're the 400 f2.8s. Oh boy. That is nuts. Look at all the A1s. I'm probably going to have nightmares about this tonight. Oh, look at those. And then they come down, it'll show you them cleaning the actual sensor here as well. So they'll probably do that every day for you if you wanted to. So that's that. And this is the battery charging station. Look at all the batteries being all charged up through here. So I suppose they even do that for you too. So that is nuts, isn't it, if you look at that? So they'll keep all the batteries charged for you. That's cleaning the back sensor. So they must take your camera and they'll do a complete clean of it as well. But I wanted to show that to you because I thought, wow, if you're into gear, imagine what that place would be worth. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. The next story is this one, because Sony really are kicking goals if you look at this just lately. That now the Canadian press has just recently said that they're going to switch to Sony exclusively. So this is the fourth company, this is the fifth company now, or the fourth company that's done that. So Sony really are starting to kick some real goals in that area now. It's the Canada's largest media company organisation that's gone over, and it says they've called out the Sony Alpha A1 and the A9 II cameras they're going to be using. But far more of Sony's camera lineup is likely to be leveraged, so I suppose they're saying there that they'll also use other things as well. But down here, they're saying it's the fourth major news group to switch to Sony that they've had. And it's also saying that, see in here, they're saying there that in July 2020, the Associate Press announced a partnership with Sony to become exclusive supplier. And also a year later in 2021, they're saying that the PA Media Group also did it in the United Kingdom and Ireland, so they moved over as well. And just 3 months later, it must be, is it Gannett? And USA Today signed a similar deal as well. So we're getting really good coverage now in the media, and obviously the more people that see these things, because people do notice that. I mean, you always used to notice the Canon lenses and stuff like that being white, and you know, everyone was out there with these white lenses. It will make a difference to Sony, and that's why I'm sure that they're really, really happy that they've got this these press people now using their cameras, and exclusively. It's pretty cool. So good on Sony, you know, for having that. I think that's terrific. This also story I wanted to show you, because this is a great idea. I don't know why no one's thought of this before. Let me just have a sip of my coffee. Can I get this up? I've got to show this. This is a... Oh, I can't show you there. Let me just switch to me, because this is a classic line. I love it. Someone said Sony's camera closet looks like David's gimbal stash. I know you would not believe in my storage area what my gimbal stash looks like. That is so true. Aaron said true. I love it. Oh, why did I bring that up? Oh, that was from before. Let me just go back to auto and go back there. Let me click that off. All right, Airbnb for second shooters, and I hope this comes out here. This is launched nationally in Canada, and I really do hope that this takes off, because what they're doing is Airbnb, if you're not sure of what that is, we have that here too, where you can use it to basically get, well, I think it's probably the same as that, but you use it here to get accommodation when you're going on holidays and things like that. Well, what they're doing they're doing this now where you can search for a second shooter. And then obviously you put in your profile, and then you stick in a little bit about your work. So you could show some of the images that you're sort of sharing here as well. And then people can search through this and then find you. It says it just wants to simplify and streamline hiring assistants. And I think this is terrific, because it's always hard to find assistants that are really good out there. And I often hire assistants when I'm doing the fusion, which is the video and the stills together. I'll often hire people for doing that. And to have this would be great. This at this stage, I think, is only for photographers, but you know, it will probably come for video shooters as well. And it's saying... as well, you can sort of see how it sort of links down through here, find available second shooters, and then they get ratings as well, which is terrific. So like with Airbnb, you as a client go out and do that as well. So you'll get a rating for the accommodation. Someone just gave another donation, so let me just switch back. I better share that. It's moving, Matt. Thanks so much, mate. Let me just bring that up. $10. I was a person who thought APS-C was dead, but I've seen there is huge demand for APS-C videos. I don't think Sony should give up. Let's see, it's too big. This is why I'm having a problem with this thing. I'll read the rest of it. I don't think Sony should give up on them. Man, the Olympics almost has as much Sony gear as you. I love it. They've got more than me, that's for sure. Let me come back. Thanks so much, though, Matt, for the donation. Really appreciate it. Let me go back to here. So obviously, you put your rate in that you're going to charge for the rate. And you can see here that this Lisa Dixon is going to charge $75 per hour. So it looks like you have to put in an hourly rate when you're doing it, looking at this. But then you will get star ratings from the people that you perform or that you actually shoot for. So what a fantastic idea. I think this is brilliant. I'll be interested to know if you guys think this is a good idea too, but I think it's really good. And they're saying here that they create an account for free. So you create the account for free, set rates and availability, and keep back and wait for bookings requests to come their way. So there must be some payment here. It says, shoot with me is free for those looking to find someone to hire, but requires a monthly fee for photographers at varying levels of their services. Okay, so if you want to use it, like if you want to hire someone, that's free. But if you want to be a photographer and go on there, you have to pay a monthly fee. It says the assistant tier costs $8 per month, so it's not much at all. The second tier costs $17 per month, and the associate tier is for professional photographers and runs at $30 per month. And I suppose this is the thing that you'd have to see. I bet you if you're in the $30 per month one, you get a higher ranking in the list that shows up. It's probably going to be like that, but you know, I'd have to see sort of what it offers. But I think it's an interesting concept anyway. Let me know in the chat what you think, and like I said, I'm going to come to the chat soon. Or let me know in the discussion down below if you're not watching the live chat, if you think this is a good idea. Like I said, it'd be great also for videographers, because it's very, very hard to get second shooters or second videographers as well. It's really tough out there. And also, you know, to be able to click on links and see their work and things like that would be terrific too. Let's keep going down. I wanted to show this because I thought this was really interesting, and some of you might not know this. I didn't know this, in fact. And I'd love to know too, and test this myself to see if this is true. But basically, they're saying that a lens hood can ruin photos taken in cold weather. And I thought, wow, is that real? Like, that's incredible. And I'll leave all these links down below so that you can have a look at this. But basically, they're saying that it affects the sharpness, particularly of your photos, and it's cold weather. And like I said, I won't watch it. I'll let you guys watch this. But they're saying it's got something to do with heat distortion as well, and long lenses. And if you read it, they're saying that particularly long lenses show this heat distortion worse. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. But they're saying that in cold weather, it's even worse. Now they're showing two images here. So he's shooting this. I think it's, what is it? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Is it a hawk? Or, I'm not sure. Is it an owl? Anyway, he's saying here that no hood is on the left-hand side and the hood is on the right-hand side. And you can see the difference of what's happening. And I think what they're saying is it captures the heat that's coming up and it gets stuck inside the lens hood. And usually the longer lenses have much, much bigger lens hoods, like I showed you before, that lens hood. So it's saying that it's much worse. So that's interesting to look at that. And like I said, I really very rarely use really, really long lenses, and some of you will. I'd love to know your opinion on this. But they're saying also this is text. This is the 200 to 600, and it's 1 degree temperature. And look at the text with the lens hood, which is on the left-hand side, and then without the lens hood on the right-hand side. Massive difference. And he's saying down the bottom here that even if you're not using big glass, it looks like this can turn into an issue, although it may vary by the size and shape of the lens hood. They're also saying, I can't test them all, but Perry says that to avoid this, photographers should allow their gear to cool down at least 10 to 15 minutes before shooting. The greater the difference in temperature between the camera and the lens where it's stored, I think they're saying the worse it will be. I usually do try and wait until it acclimatizes. So whether this is a little bit of fog that gets sort of stuck inside it or not, I'm not sure, but I'd love to know people that, you know, do this sort of shooting if you found that it really is a issue, because I'd just be curious to know. And that's it for the stories. So let's open it up to Q&A. So if you have any questions, guys, fire away. Let me just bring this back because we'll go through some of the things that you were asking about. I'm interested to see what you think about APSC. Where were we? Down here, I think. Yeah, I read that one. No corona because of the Australian lockdown. I read that one. Thumbs up. Yes, please, if you can, guys. I'd love it if you could give me a thumbs up. Let me keep coming down. Read that one. There was so much coming up before. Oh, there. Heath said APS-C cameras. Oh, he said great. I thought actually, Heath, yours was the one that I saw, and I thought you said they're not great. They are great for video. Yes, you're correct. As long as you shoot in 4K. If you don't shoot in 4K, they're terrible. 1080p is awful on those cameras. The difference is quite remarkable between shooting in 4K and 8K. John said ZA9. I thought Aussies said Z. We do, but the Nikon have said that it's sort of pronounced, I think, Z. So they've said that. But we do say Z though. You've been hanging around us Yanks too long. I love it. I love my A6100. So that's what Aaron did use. I wasn't sure, Aaron, if you did use the A6100 or the A600, 6000. I've been using it way more than my A7C for non-pro work, travel, street, environmental photography. Axman also said he loves his A6100. It's the reason I found this channel. Ike said it's an amazing camera, David. I've had mine for 3 weeks. He's talking about his Z9, or for the Australians, a Z9. No, they have said that it's pronounced Z9. Rob said I use my A6000 in a Nauticam housing. Oh, so that's so you can shoot underwater. Yep, with either the 10 to 18 or the 16 to 50 f4 lens. I love this 10 to 18 lens. It's also stabilized. So one good thing about this is that these cameras don't have IBIS in them. So to have one that says stabilized, and it says it on the lens, optical. I'm not sure if you can see it there, but it does say optical steady shot, it says on it. So it's a stabilized lens, and that will make a massive difference. So, you know, I love that lens. Mike said, when chips are scarce, Sony builds cameras with better profit. You're right, and they do. And that's why I think you're probably finding that you can still buy the A1 and you can also still buy the A9 II there. Like I said, Keith was here as well, so hi, Keith. Phil's here, the Jaded Filmmaker. What else have we got? Dijon said hello from Chicago. G'day, mate. Aaron said he loves the built-in flash. So do I. To have that ability... Look, I mean, they're not terrific flashes. Don't get me wrong. They're not great flashes, but they are good in a pinch to give fill. Remember, if you're shooting against a backlit subject, to have that ability to just pull up this flash and then shoot, just don't shoot this way. Shoot it where you point it up like that. And even like I said, if you hold a white piece of paper, you'll get even a better bit of fill that will bounce to the front, and it's not this tiny fill. You know, you could have a fairly big white card and hold it there and it'll give you a nice look. So to have that there in a pinch is great. And you can still control the intensity as well. So you've got full control over, you know, that flash. And I agree, Aaron, it's great to have it. Rob said, I would love to see a high-end APS-C camera in a form factor similar to the early A7 series, A7 II, with a great EVF for wildlife, birds in flight and aviation. APS-C 1.5 crop will give me more reach. I think you're going to find that the latest, when we do get a new high-end APS-C cameras now, the focus is going to be unbelievable. In fact, the ZVE10, the focus is brilliant. It's definitely better than any that I've seen before in the APS-C line. I mean, the A6400 is no slouch either. I don't think any A6000 camera is bad at autofocus. But the A6400 is really good. The ZVE10 is outstanding if you're talking about focus. What else? Hero said Gary Fong makes a flash bounce card on Adorama. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Hero. For the A6000 series cameras with a pop-up flash. Cool. He said that's cool. John said, I hate on-camera flash and avoid it wherever possible. If I must, I bounce it from the ceiling or a wall. Yep. John said, my cameras don't have built-in flash. Aaron said, that's what we do. Yep, we bounce it off the ceiling. Exactly. John said, more on the way. Is B&H lingo for back-ordered for who knows how long? We have no effing idea exactly. You don't know when it's going to improve, but you know, I don't think they're going to be cancelled. I think they're just basically they just can't produce them. I think that's the problem. Dave said the A6000 series still sells for more now than what I paid for it 8 years ago. That's incredible. I think is that still the highest selling camera on B&H? It was. I don't know if it still is the highest selling camera. I'm not sure. It could be one of the others now, but you know, it's been just a wonderful camera for Sony, that's for sure. Rob said the chip shortage is impacting availability of everything from cameras to cars to dive computers. If it has a chip, you're out of luck. Yeah, I know. We bought a Kerry another car the other day. Luckily, when we went in, we just went in for a service and we asked what the old car was worth and things like that. Because we were thinking about doing it, but I expected to have to wait 6 months to 12 months to get the car here. It's a Toyota. Luckily, when we went in, there was one car that they had brought in that was there. So we bought it. It's beautiful, and I've just detailed it and stuff like that. But the interesting thing is that I know, because I know other people that have had one on order. My son, for instance, has had one on order, and he's just cancelled it because it's been on order for about 5 months, and he's now been told it will be another 5 months for a Hilux four-wheel drive ute. So he's cancelled, and he's going to try and get something else. But they were telling me that if you were going to order any of these Toyotas now at the moment, you're probably going to wait 5 to 12 months, depending on which one it is. And we had a news bit on the news the other day that you know, that was often 1 year to 1.5 years for some cars. So the chip shortage is also having a massive impact on cars as well, because remember, they are so computerized, these cars now, that there must be an amazing amount of chips inside them. So yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's like I said, it's not just Sony, it's Canon, it's Nikon, it's everyone, it's cars, it's computers. If you try and order a MacBook now, you're waiting months to get it. You know, so it's everything. David also said, I saw that.
Yeah, photography is.
Oh, what's that going? Let me just turn that off. So, what's it saying here? John said, David, I saw that video on YouTube. It's hilarious. That's my argument against neck straps. A Canon 1DX user finally caught the thing. Oh, okay. You're talking about it rolling down the hill, yeah. Oh, so it was only the lens hood that broke, was it? David, you were looking at all those cameras. I think you're going to have a different kind of dream other than a nightmare. Oh, they're talking to each other. Sony's camera closet looks like David's gimbal stash. I showed that before. I love it. That was camera porn. Said, my guess is a guy had his neck strap slung from his shoulder to save the neck strain instead of proper shoulder strap like the Black Rapid. Yeah, you can. Look, I very rarely wear neck straps either. I do when I'm on a wedding because I have two cameras that I'm using. But if I'm not doing that, I don't usually have one. But I do like having a camera strap, you know, the hand strap on there. Thanks, Matt, for the donation. Dana said, no, APSC isn't dead. I agree. Aaron also said he never uses lens hoods. I often don't either, Aaron. But it's just a personal thing, I suppose. Typically because I'm using ND filters, variable NDs, I often don't like the lens hoods on. You can still move the variable ND, but they get in the way, so I often don't use lens hoods either. Nevak said, I'm really interested by the cold weather lens hood thing and plan to test it here in the northeast US in the next few weeks. Suspect the equipment just has to cool to about air temperature first. Yeah, and I think that's what they were saying, but it's an interesting thing, Nevak, yeah. Oh, so it's a snowy owl. It's a beautiful bird anyway. John said, I saw that lens hood video yesterday. The key is if the lens is still warm while the air is cold. Interesting, by the way, that it's a snowy owl. Maybe I'll leave the filter door open on the lens hood for ventilation. John also said, I rarely shoot in the cold, and when I do, it's after the camera has cooled off for a while. Well, I suppose it's not much different than if you're in humidity and you're in a quite an air-conditioned room and you walk outside and then it just, you know, your camera just fogs immediately. I noticed particularly I had that very, very bad when I was in Thailand. That was awful, actually, in Thailand because it was so humid outside that it sort of went weird straight away. That's flashing. Is that flashing for you guys too? Or is it just my system here? Let me know, guys, in a minute. Yeah, it is flashing. I wonder why it's doing that. That's weird. Rob said, I know you like your A6100 and a single lens as a minimalistic kit. Have you ever tried it with the Sony's i16-70 f4? That's an amazing lens. Are you talking there to Aaron, Rob? Because I haven't got the A6100. Randall saying hello from Cold, Texas. Why not a professional APSC in some sort of A7 body? That's still possible, Jess. I do think that's actually quite possible. It'll be interesting to see if that happens or not. Yeah, I saw that Caribbean Digger. Yeah, it was flashing. I don't know why it did that. It did it on my end. Must be something to do with HDMI shake or something that's causing it. I'm not sure. Aaron said the only chips in my car are found in the seat cushions. It's not the chips, but the whole pipeline from production to shipping. Yeah, it is true. I mean, they're having massive shipping problems as well. Yeah, everyone's saying that, yes, it's flashing. I don't know why it did that. Yes, video is flashing. David, your audio is fine, but your video is breaking up. Yeah, I think it was something to do with handshake from the HDMI cables, I think. There's nothing I can do about it. But, oh, well, it is what it is. Japan said, I use a little gadget called FM bounce cards for as well. So is that for bouncing the flash forward, Japan? Is that right? Is that what you're talking about there? Just curious to know if that's what you're actually meant. And that's it. So we've sort of caught up. Now, I will have a video up in the next day or so showing some software that's been sent to me. It is amazing. It's a brilliant software to give you vintagey type looks on your images. So I'm going to have that in a review in the next day or so. So stay tuned for that because I'm excited to share that with you. It's been great today. If there's any last questions, you can just fire them in before I finish. Apart from that, I'll be going and having lunch and going and asking Kerry why there was no beer in the fridge. I'm going to get some comments saying you should go and buy it yourself. I know I should, shouldn't I? We're saying you're so sexist. I love it. So apart from that, guys, it looks like everyone has caught up. You can convert the A74 to APS. Yeah, you can, but remember, you basically drop the file size in half. And that's the thing with it as well. John said, David, actually, the video is lagging a bit, but I thought it was my end. Yeah, you see, it blinked again then. I'm not sure what's going on there, actually. And that's it. Aaron said, glad I had the time to watch the live show. Yeah, he's been very busy. And that's it, guys. Let me just go back to here. I'm just going to pull out here. And we will go to here. Let me get to the end of the show. And we'll click on that one. And we will switch over to this. And I'll see you in the next video. So I'll catch you next week, guys. Why isn't that there? Oh.
If you're looking for some crazy